Marry me, Annie here. I'm putting some thoughts together tonight about groups because I've had the question a few times on videos that I've done and several times in private messages that folks have sent me. And I get the feeling that the questions are coming from folks who are practicing very well as solitaries, who are interested in exploring more aspects of who they are in relationship to community. And they're frustrated that they're having a very difficult time finding that kind of person-to-person connection. So I was thinking about this and I was terribly concerned because I felt like I didn't have anything to offer on the subject. There have been 2 times in my life that I have been between circles. Both times I was actively trying to find a new circle. The first time, I actually had to learn how to practice alone because I was the product of traditional training and group work and coming together 4 or 5 or even more times a month with my circle. And that's where most of my work was done, where most of my magic was done. So while I would be able to settle down to do specific magics or spell work on my own, it was almost incomplete in that when the group was done and I was on my own, I had to figure out how to recreate all the interplays with energy and with deity that were part of what group had been. Now what's interesting about that is a lot of you who are looking at this video are solitary, and you already have that because you've come from the solitary place. I had the opposite experience in that it was all group experience and I didn't know what to do as a solitary. And it all went well. The good news is there's a happy ending to that in that it actually ended up being more of the seeking within that the goddess teaches us, because that's where I went. And it's where I determined how I could hang on to and what I could hang on to from the group experience that would complete what I needed as a solitary. Those years when I began that process, I really feel, in a way, completed what I thought had been a very complete spiritual path, because working alone took me farther within. It was kind of like a new way of exploring mystery and where you fit just in your small but unique corner of all that. Now I'd like to say, here's how I found the next circle, because wouldn't that be helpful if I could share that with you, but it just doesn't work that way. You know, we can impact it. We can see ourselves in a circle and work magic where we visualize ourselves in circle and put out energy where we want to find others of like mind. So we can work at it. We can take the skills we've learned in magic and focus as a solitary and apply them towards the goal. We can also do the mundane things, which is things like checking Witchvox for meetup groups in your area. Now, my experience of those kind of things is not that you will find, ta-da, a circle, but you may find, say if there's 12 people who get together at a bookstore for a meetup that's been coordinated online. A good number of those 12 people you will find you don't have much in common with. It's just the way that is. You might have a general level of things in common. But on a good night at a meetup, you will meet someone like yourself who is searching for something deeper, searching for connections, for touching that web where you feel the vibration from person to person. Someone who's looking for the same things you are. Worst case is the meetup's a waste of time. It happens. Okay case is fun social night, you met some fun people, you had a good time. Best case is you meet even one other person who's seeking something similar to yourself. That's something we can do in the physical world. Not always a possibility according to where you live. You can explore other ways of connecting with what I call tribe. Tribe to me is beyond community or family that's blood family. Tribe is when you know you're amongst your own kind. It's difficult as a pagan, in some circumstances, according to where we live, to find others that we could consider tribe. But if you are involved and active in the world, there's a greater chance it's going to happen. Work for environmental causes. Do stream cleanups and work in food kitchens for the homeless, and work for political candidates that support things that are generally important to the pagan population. Get out there. Meet other people. The first thing is your tribe may not be something that solidifies into a circle that practices as you do. Even just finding others of like mind and getting out into the world benefits you. If you have a Unitarian Universalist church in your area, I highly recommend you find out if they have any earth-based groups that meet within that church. Mine does. I met unbelievably wonderful people that way. Now, I'm not saying that meeting a group of people in that environment, it's kind of like with the pagan meetup idea. You will at the least enjoy yourself. At the most, at the best, you'll meet at least one, who knows, maybe more. People who are on a search like yours. Maybe that you can study together. Maybe you can form a group together. Maybe they already have a group. You never know. You have to get out there, though. I eventually found the next group, by pure luck, meeting the woman who was leading that circle in a bookstore. A total fluke, a sacred accident. And several more years of my life then were spent with the second circle in my life. And wouldn't you think that, considering it was then the world of the internet, making connections like this at internet groups and pagan social networking sites, all those many other ways that you meet people, you would think that it would have been easier. Again, I searched and searched and couldn't find a connection. Now I'm in circle now, so you know that I did find that connection. I could not have planned the way I met those who are part of my current circle. And I guess that's what I want to share with everybody, that I wish we could say, this is how you do it, those of us who are in circle. I think most of us stumbled upon it, but we were open to it. We were out in the world, active in the local community. I met somebody in a bookstore. I met somebody in a New Age shop. I met somebody at the food bank, where in the matter of conversation we actually discovered we were both witches. Getting out there has to happen, and getting yourself involved in activities which tend to be shared interests by pagan folk will highly increase the odds of you meeting others. You might meet someone to study with, you might meet a group of people to study with, you could meet somebody that you want to form a group with, you could meet someone who is part of a group who is able to offer you the opportunity to be with them. So I think I wanted to share my frustration at those 2 times between the circles in my life. I guess I wanted solitaries who are on a search for group to know that I feel your pain, that it's difficult. You can impact it with your magics and your focus and your mundane activities of getting out in the world and meeting others. By understanding that you will find tribe over time. The other thing I wanted to leave you with is, I believe we are all solitary. What we believe in, what we practice at the personal level is what we bring to circle. I truly believe that our power and our deepest connection to the divine is that personal and that intimate. I've said it in other videos, I'm sure I'll say it again. I believe we are all solitary. But the call of being in group is part of our nature. It's part of what humans do. Another thing I would offer to you is the fact that practicing alone, when you are sincere and devout and completely open in your practice, when you do whatever your personal rite is, formal or informal, when you open that up, expand it beyond this world into the other, you are at that moment working with, aligned with, tribed with all those who are doing what you are doing, who have the same intent and the same focus. And the beauty of that is you are also, because there is no time or place on the other side, you are at that moment in the presence of all who have ever and will ever reach out for the same things. You are not alone. When you touch on mystery, I don't mean understanding it, that's beyond us, but when you touch on any small part of it, when you make the connection for the first time, this is what my goddess is. This is what my God is. This is what magic is. It's what prayer is. It's what spell is. It's what circle is. Whenever you touch on one of those things in a way that for a moment you know absolutely, whether you hold on to that or not, you are part of something that is so much more vast than just you. You're never alone. When I practiced alone the first time, it took me a while to realize that, to be aware of others and the energy flow of unbelievable multitudes of those who touched on the same things I touched on. So I suggest that you open yourself up to that. It will temper your feeling of aloneness if you are experiencing that at the moment. Know you are complete within the work you do privately. I wish you mirth and reverence. Mary Part.